Hi, and welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senapadaratna. Grab your favorite drink and a snack, and we will get started. Today, I have Earl Grey, yum, and a bag of chili cheese Fritos because I'm still in Alabama, and that's really all I have here. So let's get real. Remember a couple months ago, I accidentally got 60 small bags of chili cheese Fritos? Yes, I still have them. I'm still trying to get through them. If you would like some, let me know. They feel like they are multiplying. But I did bring several with because that is what you do. So I want to talk a little bit about an experience I had a couple years ago that I really haven't shared with a lot of people because it's a kind of a crazy story. So several years ago, my husband found a tour to Israel that was so cheap, it was crazy cheap. It was someone was trying to start a business and it included airfare and hotels, and it was supposed to be 10 nights there. It was fabulous, right? On paper. And because it's the country of Israel, it had actually been canceled on us three times, 2 or 3 times. One of them, like 3 days before it was canceled. I was devastated. Well, the next time came around, it was supposed to be in December, and I was like, yeah, we're not going. Like, we're just not going. So it doesn't really matter because it had been canceled so many times. And the night before, I was actually at church helping out with the kids ministry. And I realized we're actually like leaving in the morning, like 5 in the morning. And really, I had not even like emotionally gotten ready to go on this trip. Well, we did take off. We took off. We went to Israel. Now, on the way to Israel, we actually went to Poland. So we took a flight from here, I believe, to Chicago, from Chicago to Poland. Now, from Chicago to Poland, we were not on maybe my favorite airlines. I am a huge fan of Delta Airlines. I know, I'm a nerd and I have a favorite airline, but we were on Polish Airlines. Now, nothing against Poland, other than it's my least favorite place in the world right now because of this story. The airlines did not have air conditioning coming out, and it was really, really hot. I actually overheated on the airplane. And so after dinner, I wasn't feeling really great. I was feeling kind of weird on the plane. And I had, I think, like a half a roll or something during the dinner. I just couldn't eat anything. And I'm like, I am so hot. So I'm going to go and run my hands under the faucets in the bathroom on the plane. So I get up. And I remember walking down the aisle. My family was sleeping, I believe. And I was walking down the aisle and I got to the restroom area and I just remember going, oh, this is not good. And I fell on my face and I passed out. Next thing I knew, there was someone shaking me saying, you can't be on the ground. You can't be on the ground. And I remember thinking, oh, because I chose to be here. That's because I'm sarcastic, I guess, even in my not feeling well moments. And so they put me on like a chair and brought me some oxygen. And from what I heard later, some lady tapped my husband and said, hey, are you with that person on the ground up there? Are they with you? And so they brought me back to my chair and they gave me oxygen. Every time they took the oxygen off, I would pass out again. And so they eventually just moved me to the front and gave me first class. And up in first class, it was like an ice box. It was fabulous. I love to be cold. So they had me lay down. When I woke up, they moved me back to the place where it was sweltering hot. And when we got to Poland, they would not let me in Poland. So they were like, you need to go to the ER because you're super sick. And we're not going to let you get back on a plane because we needed to get our connection to Israel, right? And they're like, so you can't give me your passport. And of course, like who I am, I'm compliant. I gave them my passport and they walked away with it. They just took my passport and walked away. And so my husband and daughter went into Poland, got to go into the airport, and they took me off the plane to an ambulance. And I'm in the ambulance, and we're not speaking the same language, as you probably could guess. We're not speaking the same language, and they're asking me questions, and I'm like, I'm fine, I'm perfectly fine, I'm not sick, I'm fine. Really, honestly, one of the few times in my life that I remember lying through my teeth. I knew I needed to get on that plane to Israel, and I needed to not go to the ER. Finally, they gave me my passport and let me go meet my family. Now, what the most interesting for me part of this whole thing was, I have no idea what happened. I have no idea why I got lightheaded, why I passed out. I have passed out a couple times from migraines, but I did not have a headache. So I have no idea what was going on. And so I was like, it was really, really scary. So when we got to Israel on this tour, the tour had actually been cut from 10 days to 7 days. And we were supposed to travel all over Israel. And the guy decided to not do that and let us stay in one hotel and every day take a road trip, which is a great idea in theory, except that you're up at 6 in the morning on the bus, having eaten dinner, and then you go all night till like 10 o'clock. It was a crazy, hard physical trip. He was a military guy, which was really fun for those who care about war. I am not a war girl. That's not something I enjoy, but it was a military, like, battles and like those kind of things. So he talked a lot about that. That caused a lot of anxiety. We went to a lot of places where people had a lot of guns. That caused so I don't feel good. I am struggling emotionally because it was very fearful. And this guy was super fit, and he would be like, okay, we have 15 minutes to do something you normally do in an hour. Let's go. And he would take off through the woods. And there was one point we are running. I am physically jogging behind him because he is so much faster than my short little legs will go. And he's like, if you don't think you can make it, stay in the bus. And I'm like, I'm here. I don't want to miss anything, but I better stay in the bus. I didn't. I never actually stayed in the bus. But I remember jogging through this trail as he's just like, okay, here's what happened. I don't even know what happened there. I have no idea. I'm not even sure what the place was because it was a blur. It was just a blur. I remember we walked through the Garden of Gethsemane. Now, I've always thought about the Garden of Gethsemane as a place of peace and a place of restoration and just amazing. And I've seen pictures that I took through the Garden of Gethsemane that were really beautiful. But here is what I remember. Run, click, click, run, click, click, run. Because he went through the Garden of Gethsemane in 5 minutes. I am not joking. It was a 5-minute run through the Garden of Gethsemane. And I would take a picture and run, take a picture and run, take a picture and run. Okay, now let's be honest. There was no running. It was jogging or walking extremely fast. Jenny does not run. Now, why am I sharing this with you this week? It was several years ago, and, I have not passed out on a plane since. Woot, woot. I will be honest, it was really scary to get back on a plane. I was really nervous to get home. And then when we went on another trip, I was like, Lord, I don't want to pass out. What are we going to do? And I have had really great luck with traveling, so that's good. Well, why am I sharing this with you? Jenny, you're weird. Yes, it is weird. But it is a moment in life that you never forget, right? And for me, it was realizing I am not a superhuman. I know, you're all shocked. We are all flawed, and we all have things that stop us from doing 110%, right? Because it's impossible to do 110%, although that's what we say we want to do. And we need to learn to see the warning signs of a complete and utter meltdown on a plane. I did not see my warning signs. I did not see that I was dehydrated, probably that I was overheating, that I was not eating enough food, that I was not rested. I mean, on and on and on and on. And I know many of you are probably not going to get on a plane to Poland this week. If you are, I will be praying for you. Let me know. I know that many of you are not doing that. But there are moments in life that are a warning sign to you of what's going on. And I want you to be looking for them. I want you to be taking the time to see it before you pass out on a plane. Whether that's physically or in your spiritual life or in your emotional health, whatever it is, you need to be watching those warning signs before you get to that point. Learn from me to not pass out on a plane, that I was not paying attention to the physical signs even weeks before this happened, that I was not paying attention to things like that. Maybe I should have been, right? Yes, I should have been. But even in your spiritual health, in your emotional health, what are you ignoring? What are you putting to the side and saying, I will deal with that later, I'll catch up later? I realize that when you're a mom of a little or many littles, it is really hard to pay attention to your needs. And I'm going to tell you right now, you need to. Because your health, your emotional, your spiritual, and your physical health are more important to people around you than they are you. Because people depend on you, especially when you have littles, or even anybody. If you're a pastor's wife, people are depending on you, and it's a lot. It's overwhelming, and it can be really, really hard. But I want you to know that you are important enough to take care of. You are important enough to take a moment and drink your favorite drink and take a snack and go and relax the way you need to relax, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. Go take a nap. I've talked a lot about the holiness of a nap, 15 to 30 minutes even, if that's all you can sneak in. Take a nap. Please take care of yourself and watch for those signs this week. Well, that's all I have for you. I pray that you have a restful week and a week of self-reflection, that you really are looking at the ways and looking at your meters and saying, okay, physically, my meter's high. Emotionally, it's really low. Spiritually, it's not even on the charts. What do I need to build up to be the best me that I can be for the kingdom of God and for the people around me, and most importantly, for myself, because I am important. You are important. You are an important cog in the world that God has placed you in. And if you're not running, nobody else around you is. So take care of yourself. You can find us at Real Life with Jenny on Instagram and on Facebook. You can also find me at christconnection.cc/Jen. All of my information is there. I would love to connect with you, and I pray that this week would be a great week of filling those tanks. Fill up your spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical tanks so you don't end up passing out on a plane.